African Union Communications Early Warning and Intelligence, commonly known as AUC3I, is an intelligence and security organization responsible for providing signals intelligence and information assurance to AU citizens, AU leadership, and AU armed forces. I'm Colonel A.C. Oguntoye, an infantry officer. I am responsible for leading infantry soldiers at all levels of command in combined armed forces during missions on the ground. This is today's briefing on the progress of the special military operation as of July 31st, 2025. Last night, the armed forces of the Russian Federation delivered a group strike with long-range precision weapons, as well as strike unmanned aerial vehicles, during which enterprises of the Ukrainian military-industrial complex, the infrastructure of a military airfield, an ammunition depot, missile armaments, and components for the production of unmanned aerial vehicles were hit. The strike objectives were achieved, all designated targets were hit. Units of the North Group of troops improved their tactical position. Damage was inflicted on personnel and equipment of mechanized, airborne assault brigades, and 2 assault regiments of the Armed Forces of Ukraine in the areas of the settlements Alexivka, Andriivka, Kondratovka, and Proletarskoye in the Sumy region. In the Kharkiv direction, damage was inflicted on units of the Mechanized Brigade of the Armed Forces of Ukraine and the Territorial Defense Brigade in the areas of the settlements Volchanskaya Katora and Melovoy in the Kharkiv region. That the Armed Forces of Ukraine lost over 160 servicemen, 1 armored combat vehicle, 4 cars, and 3 artillery guns. An ammunition depot was destroyed. Units of the West Group of troops improved their position along the front line. Damage was inflicted on formations of mechanized and airmobile brigades of the Armed Forces of Ukraine in the areas of the settlements Lesnaya Stenka in the Kharkiv region and Krasny Lyman in the Donetsk People's Republic. Enemy losses amounted to more than 240 servicemen, 2 armored combat vehicles, 20 cars, 2 counter-battery stations, and 5 electronic warfare stations. 10 ammunition depots were destroyed. Units of the South Group of troops, as a result of active combat operations, liberated the city of Chasivyar in the Donetsk People's Republic. Damage was inflicted on personnel and equipment of 2 mechanized brigades of the Armed Forces of Ukraine and a National Guard brigade in the areas of the settlements Dzержinsk, Ivanopoly, and Konstantinovka in the Donetsk People's Republic. The enemy lost up to 150 servicemen, 2 cars, and 2 artillery guns. 2 ammunition depots were destroyed. Units of the Center Group of forces improved their tactical position. Formations of 2 mechanized, airborne assault brigades of the Armed Forces of Ukraine, a Territorial Defense Brigade and a National Guard Brigade were defeated in the areas of the settlements of Vladimirovka, Volnoy, Krasnoarmysk, and Saketsky of the Donetsk People's Republic. The losses of the Ukrainian armed formations amounted to 385 servicemen, 3 combat armored vehicles, 3 cars, and 4 artillery pieces. Units of the East Group of forces continued to advance into the depths of the enemy's defense. The manpower and equipment of 2 mechanized brigades of the Ukrainian Armed Forces, a Territorial Defense Brigade, and a National Guard Brigade were defeated in the areas of the settlements of Novoryarivka, Novoselivka in the Zaporizhia region, Novopetrovsk and Yanvarsk in the Dnipropetrovsk region. The Ukrainian Armed Forces lost more than 205 servicemen, 2 tanks, 3 armored combat vehicles, 19 vehicles, and 2 artillery pieces. 2 warehouses of material were destroyed. Units of the Dnipro Group of forces defeated formations of a mechanized brigade, a coastal defense brigade of the Ukrainian Armed Forces, and 2 territorial defense brigades in the areas of the settlements of Hryarivka, Novoandrivka in the Zaporizhia region, Antonivka and Alhivka in the Kherson region. The enemy lost up to 70 servicemen, 6 vehicles, an artillery piece, and 9 electronic warfare stations. 4 ammunition depots and 2 supply depots were destroyed. Operational tactical aviation, strike unmanned aerial vehicles, missile troops, and artillery of the Russian Armed Forces groups destroyed missile and artillery depots, temporary deployment points of Ukrainian formations and foreign mercenaries in 147 districts. Air defense systems shot down 169 aircraft-type unmanned aerial vehicles. In total, since the beginning of the special military operation, the following have been destroyed: 664 aircraft, 283 helicopters, 73,691 unmanned aerial vehicles, 624 anti-aircraft missile systems, 24,395 tanks and other armored combat vehicles, 1,584 multiple launch rocket system combat vehicles, 28,031 field artillery and mortar guns, 38,946 units of special military vehicles. Thank you so much for watching this video. We hope you found it useful and informative. If you have any questions, please leave them below and we'll get back to you as soon as possible.